Good evening. I'm Chuck Todd here in New York, and welcome to MTP Daily. If our leaders learned anything from the last few weeks, it's that you cannot govern alone. The president needed Democrats to do a deal on disaster relief. Democrats need him if they want to do anything like save DACA or fix Obamacare. And roughly 90 minutes from now, the president is meeting with a group of senators that includes, you guessed it, Democrats, because he's decided he does need them if he wants to have bipartisan tax reform. Specifically, President Trump is targeting 3 Democratic senators who are up for re-election in 2018 in states that the president carried. They're now going to have to choose between making a deal with him that will likely anger their base or resisting a deal in order to prove their progressive bona fides. That is the bigger story brewing here on both sides. Cue the both-siderisms. We know you love to do that on Twitter. But all of it could actually upend the landscape in 2018, because if our leaders learned anything else in the last few weeks, it's that there's a major battle in 2018 that could purge each party of its more moderate governing wing, or at least what's left of that moderate governing wing. Right now, you're seeing signs of a purge on the right.
The Republican establishment is trying to nullify the 2016 election. That's a brutal fact we have to face. They do not want Donald Trump's populist, economic, nationalist agenda to be implemented.
You are attacking on many fronts people who you need to help you to get things done.
They're not going to help you unless they're put on notice. They're going to be held accountable if they do not support the President of the United States.
You go into war with them.
Absolutely.
Now, it's entirely unclear if President Trump himself is on board with what's being said and done in his name. The president does need moderates to get his agenda through Congress, but at the same time, he demands a level of loyalty that none of them are interested in providing. Because guess what? They're moderates. And as Bannon talks about a war of purity, House Republicans from moderate districts are preemptively throwing in the towel. We've seen 3 retirements announced in the last few days. Why? Here's one reason.
I am concerned about this growing isolationism, nativism, protectionism with a touch of nihilism, which these are not attributes of a great nation, and we can do better than that. And frankly, in both parties, I see these trends.
So Congressman Dent pinned this on both parties, and he might have a point, because it isn't just on the right. There are forces on the Democratic side attacking the moderate and governing wings of their own party as well.
The current model and the current strategy of the Democratic Party is an absolute failure. The Democratic Party must finally understand which side it is on.
The Democratic Party isn't going back to the days of welfare reform and the crime bill. We are not going back to the days of being lukewarm on choice. We're not going back to the days when universal health care was something Democrats talked about on the campaign trail, but were too chicken to fight for after they got elected.
And right now, Sanders is driving a big wedge between the progressive left and the moderate left with his Medicare for All health care bill. His backers include a lot of folks who are keeping their eyes on 2020. But get this, not a single Senate Democrat that's facing a tough re-election in 2018, including Sherrod Brown, who normally would be on board something like Medicare for All, they haven't signed on. The Senate's top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, won't endorse it either when asked about it today. In the age of Trump, a lot of folks from both sides are in survival mode with seemingly few good options. On the left, if you even say the president isn't going to be impeached, as Senator Dianne Feinstein recently did, you get skewered by the base. And on the right, if you dare criticize the president, like many have, you get skewered by that base too. I know what some of you are thinking, fake news, Republicans are united, or fake news, Democrats are united. But folks, you can't see that this is a problem, is impacting both sides. If you don't see it, then you're probably part of that said problem.